I be like play. Gonna make me look like Mugu where your friends stay. I don't like when you they make me feel some kind way. If you tell me what to happen for your mind, girl, calm down like a massive baby. Give me love, my baby. Sunday window.
Yo, what's up guys? Be by saying yeah, in case this is your first time. And yeah, in today's video, I'm basically going to be showing you guys how I made this amazing Afroswing song featuring Echo to the Moon. And yeah, if you haven't watched the video I just dropped, my 14 days with Echo to the Moon, make sure you go watch the previous video. And yeah, in today's video, I'm basically going to be showing you guys how I made this song, made this beat, my thought process, and some sounds, that you can take home and start using to make your beats as well. So without wasting much time, let's just get straight into the video. So yeah, like I always say, if you're having issues, beat block and all that, I always start with a loop. And yeah, as you can see in this particular song, I started with a nice loop and it just sounds something like this. Then I like this part around here, so I repeated it. And on the normal it sounds like this, but that was too bright for me, so that was the reason why I had to add this auto filter to chop up those brightness. So after doing that, the next thing I did was I added this sound around here, just like a reverb sound, So pardon the cracking. And after that, I added this nice true piano, basically playing the chords, and I added drip. If you've been following me, I like using drip a lot. And I'm using the Apex presets, and it sounds together with the guitar. I pan it to the left. So at this point, I was like, okay, what else am I going to do? So I started adding the drums, just to start getting a feel of what it sounds like. And I use this colonial bounce. And the drums, basically simple HCN swing vibe, This time around, I was trying to use different spark, you understand? So yeah, so I added another sound as well. It's not just like a hi-hat sound. If you can hear it, sound like this. So after doing that, the next thing I did as well was adding my hi-hat, and the hi-hat just basically sounds like this. So I like what this was basically sounding like, and I was already getting the groove, so I just kept on adding more percussion sound just to give swing, you understand? And I wasn't really thinking, when I'm making my drums, I don't really think much, just like I always say, enjoy yourself when you're making beats. So I was just basically enjoying myself, and yeah, just a tom. So I added a drum after that. Just to give it more bounce. And after that, actually, I laid down my vocals, just to start having a feel of what the song should sound like, and this was just basically what I had. And this is just basically a demo of what the song is going to be sounding like. So personally, when I'm making beats, I always like to vibe because I'm also an artist as well, and it's always nice to vibe just to see where the direction of where the song will be going to. So the moment I lay down that my vocals, the next thing I did was to bring in a bass that really fits in the whole vibe. For the verse, I played two different basses though, one in the verse and one in the chorus. And the bass verse, it sounds like this. So basically, the essence of doing that is to, make it unique, make the verse and the chorus unique. So that's the essence of why I switched the bass a bit. So let me take out the voice so that you can hear what the bass actually sounds like. Because we're here to break down the beats before the song actually. So this is what the chorus bass sound. This time I'm giving it a more lengthy vibe, And in case you're wondering what bass am I using, I'm using the HCN Knuckles 808 bass. And you can get this bass on my Afro attire, HCN attire premium. You can get this bass there. So yeah, after adding that, basically I actually worked on the verse before I worked on the chorus, and the next thing I did was adding this sound. Sorry, I'm not even showing you guys the sound. Was adding this sound from Triton. And it's a whirly, or whatever. You get the jack. So yeah, sound just like this together with the whole sound. And if you know me, I always say layer your sound. So for this one, I pan it to the left, because the main sound for the whole song, because this guitar was sounding like from the beginning to the end, is in the middle. And every other sound I was bringing, I was just basically panning them to the left, to the right, you understand, just to like make the whole sound wide. So layer your sounds and make sure you try to like pan them, to give that wide feel. Because this sound is to the left as well, but this one came in the chorus part. You get the jerk. So I did that. Another thing I always do is every 4 bars, I'm making sure I'm introducing new sound. That's also a way to make the whole beat unique, so the listeners don't get tired of listening to your song. You understand? The next sound I added after the first 4 bars, so that next sound just like this. Together with the vocals, you see what it sounds like. Let me just do that real quick. And sounds like. Make I give you love, my baby. Us on your window, give me vibe like us at the bill. So you can see what it sounds like. And for anyone asking, this is like my favorite sound. If you've not watched my Afrobeats sound, like choice selection, you make sure you go watch it. I'm always using this time, and this is like a very nice sound. Since I discovered it, I've been using it repeatedly. But yeah, this is what it is. And the next thing I did in this particular part was like a call and response, and I'm using the Jupe 8V4 for this, and Guilty Romance. I don't even need to open it. I know the Guilty of Romance, one of my favorite sound again. And what I was just basically using this to do is like a call and response with my vocals, so you can hear. Make I give you love, my baby. Us on your window, give me vibe like us at the baby. So like they're just basically responding to what I was singing. That's what that sounds like. And I added a little bit of rolls, you understand? And that was what the verse was sounding like. And for the chorus, this is where I brought in most of the sounds that you're hearing. And one of the sound here is the Omnisphere sound. I think I need to pan this to the right a bit. And if you notice, I'm basically playing same thing, just changing the sound and panning them just to make them full. You understand? And this Jupe 8 is playing same thing. And I think for the sound, the one I'm using for the Jupe V4 for this chorus pass, in case anyone wants to know, is the First Fire keys. That's what I'm using for that. And the chorus, I'm still vibing here. I haven't really written anything much. Losing patience when you got for desire now. Then Echo came in the second verse, and I think the second verse I just did little tweaking, and the only thing I did for the second verse was just basically change where each sound comes in. Because trust me, when you are making a beat or making a song, the way you arrange the song is really important. You get what I'm saying? Because the first bar, I gave it like an 8 bar, then the chorus came in, then around J, you can see I gave it 12 bars. 12 bar meaning I still gave echo like the first 8 bars, then I brought in the pre-hook again. You understand? In the next 4 bars before the chorus came in. And all I just basically did here was to layer down the sound I feel like should sound from the beginning to the end, layer down the drums. So just little tweaks around this side, you get. And I brought in a new sound. Then I brought in the pre-chorus. That was basically what I did here. And another thing I did was also thinking how I was going to make the outro. So the outro, I just basically did a water effect around here, and I just automated that. And how I did that was to basically use a Fab Pro MB, you know, select the and let me just try to do that. Hopefully my system doesn't fail. So you can see I solo this frequency to give it that video effect. You understand? And after doing that, all I did was to basically show automation, and I brought it only on the outro so you can hear what it sounds like. So yeah, that was just basically what I did here to be able to achieve that vibe. And as you can see, I took out some sounds here, and the essence of doing that is just to make that vocals, you know, to shine a bit before my own vocal comes in. So you can see arrangement of a beat is really important. You get that was like basically what this whole stuff sounds like, you know. And one thing for me was the drum. Yeah, so that was just basically a simple video showing you guys a big breakdown how I made this amazing song. Let me know if you like this song and if you want me to drop it, and I'll basically put it out on Spotify so you can listen. Yeah, so just a quick video. I hope you like this one. So I'll catch you guys in that video. Remember to always stay creative. Peace.